briefing for Thursday, the 8th of February. I'm Stephen Ridgway. So, firstly, an update from an article that we talked about, or I talked about yesterday. Um, the 3 million smart toothbrushes that got widely reported as being a source of a DDoS attack actually appears to have been fictitious. So it looks like the original article, which was in a German language newspaper in Switzerland, um, was misreported. The article appears to be quoting the regional head of Fortinet, but apparently that is not actually the case. Fortinet haven't identified a DDoS based around these particular Internet of Things devices. So it is, I think, at best an indication of, at least theoretically, the sort of stuff that might be able to happen if you have a mass breach of Internet of Things devices. But this particular case, it wasn't. Now, in my own defense, a little, I did read about this on reputable sources. I didn't, though, go back and check the Fortinet quote personally. So there we go. That's a lesson for me on this stuff. But I think it is fair to say that even some very well-known other bloggers in this space, even some native German speakers, didn't actually spot that this wasn't real either. So there we go. Don't worry, your toothbrush is most likely not attacking you. On more serious things, there is a remote code execution vulnerability in the bootloader shim for most major Linux distributions. It is part of the secure boot stuff, so it isn't directly part of the operating system in the sense of after you've booted and you're running it. It sits there as a shim in the BIOS secure boot process. So there are updates available from the majority of major versions, um, and it is something that you will probably be using even if you're not aware of, if you are using the Unified Extensible Firmware Interface, the UEFI um, interface on systems, i.e. most modern hardware. The severity of this is being debated at the moment. The CVE is CVE 2023 40547. It is being reported as being of having a severity rating of 9.8 out of 10 on the NVD assigned bug database. However, Red Hat is giving it a score of 8.3. So either, and whether it is or isn't, I mean, 9.8 is effectively remotely executable, unauthenticated, simple to exploit. Whereas Red Hat's points out that it's only exploitable via an adjacent networking, and it's a high complexity attack. So either way, though, 8.3 is still quite severe. I think the impact is severe enough to warrant this being looked into. So if you are using Linux of any version, check with your distro to see if there's a patch available. If there is, update at the earliest possible opportunity. In the meantime, perhaps being restrictive around which devices can connect to your device on the network, so some decent network segregation may mitigate or at least reduce the risk. Cisco has announced that there is a oops, there we go. Let me clear that. So pop-ups. Cisco announced that there is a vulnerability in its Expressway series of collaboration gateways. Two of them are rated as critical and expose devices to cross-site request forgery. So if you are using these devices, I recommend that you check out Cisco's website and look for upgrades. If you don't have a support contract in place at the moment, bear in mind you won't be able to get the updates and upgrades, so it is definitely worth keeping up to date with your support, especially for a Cisco perspective. So the article in Bleeping Computer has got links out, also points out which versions are or aren't vulnerable, which is basically if it's earlier than 14.0, it's out of support, migrate to a fixed release. If it's on 14.0, or if it's on the major version 14 stream, the first fix is 14.3.4. If you're on the 15 stream, it apparently is not vulnerable. So have a look and keep on top of that if you are using those systems. And then finally from me today, there is an article, again in Bleeping Computer, that talks about Facebook ads being used to push the Overstealer password stealing malware. Current campaign based around fake job ads for burial positions. The links lead to a Discord URL where a PowerShell script downloads malware from a GitHub repository. As always, the write-up in Bleeping Computer is very good. There are some indicators of compromise there, which it will be worth feeding into your security visibility or your SIEM tooling. In the meantime, just be aware of, be wary of adverts. You know, Google's are often malicious. No reason to think that fake Facebook ads are anything other than dodgy. If it looks too good to be true or you're uncertain about it, check before you go. That is enough from me for this morning. Hope you have a good Thursday, and I will speak to you all again tomorrow morning.